Afternoon and welcome to this special meeting for Lynchburg City Council regarding the celebration and a paid holiday for the observance of Juneteenth. And so I will first turn to Mr. Verchek, I think followed by Mr. Irwin. Thank you. Yes.
We're outside of our standard rules of procedure.
Got you. Thank you. Councilmember Pero.
I got some help from Mr. Irwin on this, and I thought it'd be helpful to explain. So I'm going to read some of this verbatim. So council has adopted rules of procedure to help council conduct its affairs in a timely and efficient manner. These rules of procedure specifically provide that, quote unquote, council reserves the right to suspend or amend the rules of procedure whenever a majority of council decides to do so, end quote. Section 2.2-2 of council rules of procedure allow the mayor, the city manager, or two members of council to call a special meeting, but requires council members to be given at least 12 hours advance notice of the special meeting. On June 17th, 2020, Governor Northam granted a day off for state government employees in observation of Juneteenth, and many other localities around the state are following the governor's examples and giving their employees the days off in observance of Juneteenth. Under the city's employee policies and procedures, City Council is charged with declaring city holidays. Since City Council was not scheduled to meet again until June 23rd, it is necessary to call a special meeting to decide if Juneteenth should be declared a city holiday. So here's the motion I would like to make, Madam Mayor. While I don't believe City Council should lightly disregard its rules of procedure, I believe that under the circumstances, it is appropriate for Council to discuss whether or not it should declare Juneteenth to be a city holiday, and I make a motion that City Council suspend the rule of procedure that requires 12 hours notice of a special meeting and proceed with the meeting.
Thank you. A motion has been made and second. Thank you, Councilmember Pero and Vice Mayor Dolan. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I would like that clarification because I thought I saw it in the procedural motions section of the rules of procedure about a vote tally requirement. I don't think we're going to have a problem meeting it now. Supermajority, whether it was a supermajority was required under the special motions or special procedures.
The rules of procedure provide section 8.4 that the rules may be amended at any regular meeting or a special meeting with an affirmative vote of 4 members of the council.
Okay, I remembered I was not correct. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Dolan, any further discussion? All right, thank you. The motion has been made, so I will now call for the voice vote. Councilmember Wilder, Councilmember Wright, Councilmember Pero.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dolan.
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. Thank you very much. The motion has passed, and now I will defer to the city manager and Mr. Irwin.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Actually, Councilmember Pero made a great presentation. Anything I would say would be absolutely redundant and repetitive. So what you have before you is a resolution declaring Friday, June 19th, 2020 as a paid holiday in observance of Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day.
Thank you very much. So what I will do is take the opportunity to read the proclamation and the resolution, and then I will ask for a motion on adopting it. Resolution declaring Friday, June 19th, 2020 as a paid holiday in observance of Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day. Whereas on June 17th, 2020, Governor Northam announced a proposal to make Juneteenth a paid state holiday in Virginia and granted Friday, June 19, 2020 as a paid day off for state government employees in observation of Juneteenth. And whereas as a result of the governor's announcement, a number of localities throughout the state, such as Charlottesville, Hampton, Hopewell, Martinsville, Newport News, Portsmouth, Richmond, Williamsburg, etc., have granted their employees a day off for the observance of Juneteenth. And whereas, in light of the governor's announcement and the actions that are being taken by other localities in Virginia, the City Council deems it appropriate to grant Lynchburg City employees a paid day off in observance of Juneteenth. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lynchburg City Council hereby declares that June 19, 2020 will be celebrated as a city holiday, and employees will be given a paid day off in observance of Juneteenth, and at a future date, City Council will consider amending the city's employment policies and procedures to include adding Juneteenth to the list of paid city holidays. Is there a motion to adopt this? And the motion has been made in second. Is there further discussion? Councilmember Wilder and Councilmember Wright.
Just in line with a lot of our localities. Since the governor just did this proclamation and requested for it to be a state holiday, and there's so many other cities have also embraced that as well. I think it's only fitting for Lynchburg as well to follow them in that manner as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Wright?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and if I could just take a couple minutes. So I think I first want to say that Juneteenth, this is not the first time that Juneteenth is being observed or celebrated here in Lynchburg. And it doesn't, any action that we take here today does not diminish in any way the hard work and dedication of, for example, the NAACP, Virginia University of Lynchburg, Red Cross, the Academy, and countless others who have been celebrating and honoring Juneteenth for many years. So this formal recognition, should council make it today, would be coming late. But it is time, and I think it's past time, that we acknowledge this holiday formally here in Lynchburg. And I know this is we're only discussing about doing it for tomorrow, June 19th, 2020, though I do believe it's a holiday we should add to our regularly observed roster going forward. And I know this is last minute, but I think it's still the right thing for us to do, even though it's a relatively small act. It doesn't excuse us from the hard work that we need to do to make Lynchburg a more equitable and just community, but it's still an important recognition, and one that I'm really proud to support, because it's not just a recognition of the millions of people who endured slavery for centuries, including many people here in Lynchburg, but it also recognizes the fight for justice that has raged ever since June 19th, 1865, and then the passage of the 13th Amendment. So it wasn't all that long ago, and certainly within the lifetime of living memory of many people who are still around, that Lynchburg, a former slave-holding town, practiced our own severe form of Jim Crow. We have the filled-in pool over Riverside Park, or the Meganson Rosenwald School out in Tyriana, as examples of that history. And we know the effect is lasting and still very real. You only have to overlay the neighborhoods where redlining took place to see that it's a perfect match for many of our neighbors today live in poverty, and where there has been and continues to be a historic lack of investment. So the scars of racism still run deep in our community. Juneteenth is an important commemoration of our nation's original sin and the fight for justice for whom so many have given their lives, and I look forward to joining other council members as we support this resolution.
All right, thank you. If there's no further discussion, I will, Councilmember Pero.
I would just like to acknowledge William Buck Sidner, who is actually the interim director of the Lynchburg Redevelopment and Housing Authority, to bring this to our attention. And he really started the ball rolling when the Housing Authority decided to do this, and it occurred to us that and Buck that maybe we should ask about the city. So I just want to acknowledge his recognition of this. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know it's the last minute, we had to do it pretty quick, but I wanted to go ahead and call for the voice vote, because I believe we have a council member that may have to leave very soon for an appointment. So can I call for the voice vote now, and then I'll give my comments afterwards. Councilmember Wilder?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Pero?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dolan?
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. So I thank you. The motion has passed, declaring Friday, June 19, 2020 as a paid holiday in observance of Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day. The resolution is approved. Thank you very much. Thank you, if you have to go. Okay. What I would like to say is that this Juneteenth has been celebrated in Lynchburg for the past 20 years. I thank Philistine Mosley, who's sitting out in our office. Her and the many organizers and the organizations that Councilmember Wright mentioned have been working tirelessly for 20 years. And if you think it's new, it's not. And so some things that have operated in the shadows and off to the side for a number of years with a lot of investment and resources from people has become now a new norm for us. And so I am very appreciative to her and their work and the organization's work. I do have a flyer here for council members. Juneteenth will be celebrated in COVID times right now, virtually at the with the partnership of the Academy. It is Juneteenth 2020, Freedom Day. The vision is clear. So I thank you, council members. I thank the city administration, and as a community moving forward, our vision is truly clear. So I thank you very much. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Oh, sorry, Mr. Irwin.
I don't want to be presumptuous, but I would just like to offer something for council to consider. And that is the Freedom of Information Act, which regulates public meetings, does not have a requirement for 12 hours notice to call a special meeting. Now, I hope things are going to settle down and we won't need any more special meetings, but I think the past couple months have demonstrated there are times when council needs to get together on short notice to take action. And it seems some people are making issue, well, if the 12 hours notice isn't complied with, it's not a legitimate meeting. Council is going to be readopting its rules of procedure on July 1st to set its schedule of meetings for the upcoming year. You might want to consider amending that rule of procedure that requires 12 hours notice. Say that we will attempt to give 12 hours notice, but that's not mandatory, and the only notice that is required is what is reasonable under the circumstances to follow the language in the Freedom of Information Act. While I certainly hope we don't have to hold any more special meetings, it would be nice to get this issue out of the way so we don't have to have motions to suspend the rules or have people saying, well, because you didn't give 12 hours notice, it's not a legitimate meeting. So I would just like to throw it out there for council to think about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Irwin. Definitely, we will think about that. Thank you. No further discussion. Thank you very much. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.